Good morning. It is Friday, July 22nd, 2022. Back here for Daily Shakeup number 572. And today the topic is passion. I'm sure I've talked about it a number of times over the last few years, and before that on stage or in blogs, but it's an often confusing concept. And there's so many layers to passion that I just want to touch on a little bit today. And particularly, I want to distinguish between the idea of living your passion and living with passion. The difference between living your passion and living with passion. Now, they are certainly related. And there's so much talk about encouraging people to go live your passion, go live your passion. But the reality is, when it comes to living your passion, our paths to it are all very different. They're different based upon how we see passion, how we see our lives. Frankly, in some cases, where we are in our lives, we have different challenges, different views of it. In some cases, different obstacles. You know, there's a reality that in certain people where they are in their life, they may feel, and I'm not saying this is the end of it, but they may feel like their path to living their passion is different than someone else who at least has some of their basic needs met. Often I found that ultimately underneath it all, there's a question of whether we are worthy of a life of passion, whether living it or living with it. There's a worthiness question, like who am I? Who am I to think that I'm entitled to or worthy of passion? And in some cases, there's some privilege in this. Certain people are in situations that their situation, frankly, makes it more accessible. The idea of living your passion. It is a reality. It's not a limitation, but it's a reality. But I want to distinguish here, those are all things we look at when we're thinking about living our passion. But the difference is the idea of living with passion, I would argue, is equally accessible to all of us. Equally accessible. The idea of living with passion, because it really comes down to two things. Do you believe that passion is innately within you, that it is part of our natural fire, the spark that comes with being a human being? Whatever your belief system is, that there is some level of divine spark in us that, of course, would be accompanied by the capacity for passion. Because if you believe that you have passion in you, then it just comes down to a choice. Will you choose to allow it? Will you choose to release it? Will you choose to embrace it? Because until you believe it's there and are willing to embrace it, the truth is you won't live with that passion. So think about that question. Think about passion. Where is passion in your life? Where do you talk about wanting more passion? Whether it's the idea of living your passion or living with passion. And I'll leave you with this quote. It's always been one of my favorites around passion. It comes from Nelson Mandela, someone who knew something significant about overcoming, about hope. And he said, quote, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living," end quote. And to me, he's speaking to both. Nelson Mandela is speaking to the idea of not only living your passion, but more importantly, to begin with living with passion. That's the invitation today, living with passion. Keep taking care of yourself and everyone around you, and by all means, stay connected.